G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. I can't do it, man, every single time. It's like it's a custard game. Spawning in on the south side of the map, playing as the Abbasid Dynasty, it's Corp. And up towards the north, we have got the one and only Salami playing as the French. Now, the reason I'm bringing you guys this game, now we're going to have to probably zoom in a little bit closer on this map, is because this is one of the brand new crafted maps. Now, you might be wondering, what the heck is a crafted map, Drongo? Well, remember how in the early days of Age of Empires, how Drongo got really upset about how map balance wasn't perfect. So what he proposed was these kind of StarCraft-esque maps where you can guarantee that X will spawn here or Y will spawn here. Well, this is what crafted maps are. It's almost guaranteed, as far as I'm aware, that everything on this map will always spawn the exact same way that it has right now. So you can be guaranteed to come into a game and you will always find this hunt in this location. You will always find this relic in this location. It is always going to be there. That is a crafted map. It is crafted with the intention of you to enjoy it the exact same way every single time. Oh yeah. But in all seriousness, this is a really good thing because it means players who like to play scenarios, myself included in that, means that there are a lot more options for you with regard to consistency. It enables you to set up triggers. So say for an example, you know, let's say Salami walks across this bridge, you can then set up a trigger for an AI to move the men-at-arms forward or to move the longbowmen forward and then begin firing at the units. So it's really good for scenarios and stuff like that, but also pretty good for competitive games. Like, I really wouldn't be surprised if we actually started to see tournament games. Maybe not. It's kind of like a nice AoE thing. People don't really like, you know, you don't really like consistency. I don't know. It's such a hard thing. We'll have to wait. We'll have to see. I reckon we could probably do a tournament with crafted maps, and I reckon it would work out pretty well. But at the same time, like, let's say like Dry Arabia. It's already pretty much like a crafted map. Like, the spawning is very tight on it. There's not a lot of flexibility. So who knows? Who knows? But we'll take a look at what is unfolding here. Oh, one of the other things to note on this map, there seems to be a bit of an issue. As you can see here, looking down, the fog level is really high. So one of the things I think I need to like suggest to the developers is, hey, can we just have an option to turn off fog? Because I appreciate that like you're going for that whole like, wow, it looks so beautiful. But at the same time, like, dude, I can't see the fucking map. Like, can I turn off the fog, please, man? It's getting a bit stupid now. And I think that's primarily because we're up so high. Like, look how high we are up here. You literally cannot see anything at all. So that's probably a thought. But this is the public update preview. So the public update preview, by the time this comes up on YouTube, probably not going to be available too much longer. So look, you're probably not going to get your hands on it. But it is essentially the new patch that we're going to be playing on. We don't know exactly when it's coming, but it is going to be Season 1. So hopefully it's soon. Hopefully it's the next couple of weeks. Honestly, I would really hope that it came out in the next 2 weeks because the changes on here are absolutely amazing. And there's changes for the Abbasid Dynasty. So some of the changes that are happening, and I covered this in the patch video if you didn't see that. I'll talk a little bit about it. So they've rebalanced a lot of the technologies for the Abbasid Dynasty, tried to make things a bit more viable in Age 1. So as an example, in Age 1, the military wing used to give you this technology here, Camel support, but they moved it to Age 4, and subsequently in Age 1, you've now got boot camp. And they've obviously adjusted the prices and all that stuff, but they've done this to a whole bunch of different tech, a whole bunch of units, like the Camel Archer has been changed, but obviously the identity of the Abbasid Dynasty is still the same. So it means that you're still going to be doing your thing with berries. It just gives you a little bit more variability in the early game. But anyway, that's essentially how it is. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's my thoughts so far. Now, I want to also state that this is a show match that was hosted by Lidicor. If you don't know Lidicor is a fellow Age of Empires 4 content creator. So I'm going to leave a link in the description over towards Lidicor's YouTube. You can check him out there. Make sure you leave a subscribe if you're interested in seeing more Age of Empires 4 content. He asked Corp, he asked Salami, he said, hey, would you guys mind playing a show match on these new maps? And now we're going and we're watching exactly what unfolded, because as you guys will know, these guys are at the top level when it comes to games. Now, speaking of top level of games, I've just got back from Berlin. N4C is what I was casting. We had this beautiful Observer UI. Now, it pains me not to have that Observer UI now. I can assure you that everything is being done behind the scenes to try and make that happen for us, because it's going to take some time before we're actually able to get our hands on that. but hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later. But I'll keep you guys updated with that. And now we see Salami. So going with a relatively early age up here. No mill getting dropped down just yet. So no professional scouts. Not looking to get the wheelbarrow, but obviously has opened up with a knight. Going to be moving out across the map with that first knight now. And look at the distance that's starting to build between these two players. So one of the things to note is this map does seem very, very big. Now, obviously, I'm not zoomed out all the way. In fact, I am zoomed out all the way right now. Now I'm zoomed in a little bit. But you can just see on the mini-map just how big this map is. It's a very big one. And one of the things I really like about it is the structure, but you can see right now, because of the size of the map, Corp is actually able to go for a naked fast second town center, and the knight is even yet to reach the wood lines. And now it's only finally coming in. Corp got to be careful here, because that knight's coming in with malice, coming in with ill intent, and does indeed take out the villager. So a little bit of a misplay there by Corp. +1 to Salami. Wheelbarrow actually coming through for Corp as well. Also getting fresh food stuff. This guy's going for the hammest build order I've ever seen when it comes to greed. So yeah, just to talk a little about this, a little bit about this map and why I like this map in particular. So not just all crafted maps, but this specific map. Let's talk about this. So you start up on this little, I guess you kind of call it like a plateau. It's higher than everything else. Now it is completely mirrored. I love this. I think this is really, really important to have mirrored maps, or at least to have generally mirrored maps. So as an example, you can see over on the left side of the town center here, you've got berries and stone. Villager, gonna die. Probably. No, Royal Knight, definitely gonna die. Surely gonna die. No. Oh my god, it gets away. So stone and berries, and then you go look up here, and you can see stone and berries. Now, it's not exactly the same. You can see the spawns are a little bit different, but then you look down here, you can see that there's this large cliff face with the berries on top, and then down here we've got the large cliff face with the berries on top. So it's the exact same thing. Knight coming in underneath the town center, looking to pick off villages. Doesn't actually get... Actually, I think it might have got one. Let's double check. You can't actually see it. I think it died inside the town center. We'd have to double check, but you can see already the damage that's being done by Salami. Even though the map distance is quite long, you can see that by going for that naked second town center, not dropping down the barracks before, he still gets punished quite severely. There was idle time down in this position. He lost a villager, idle time over towards the stone mine, lost a oh no, he didn't lose the villager on this. Okay, so he did actually keep that one alive. Yeah, so one of the things I love about this map is obviously it's symmetrical. It starts off, like, it seems very easy to wall. Like, you would think a wall across here would make a lot of sense, and it probably does. At the same time, I mean, you'd have to wall down here. You'd also have to wall... Oh, you know what? Maybe it's kind of hard to wall this map. I mean, you could wall across like that. You could there's definitely a case to say you could wall yourself in on a map like this. But at the same time, Oh, there we go. Wall's coming up. A very big wall as well. But yeah, it's a map that's probably a bit more difficult. So you then come down onto like this central plains area, which is divided by a river. So it's low, it's open. You've got the very plentiful shorefish in here. We've seen 1 shorefish, 3 shorefish there, a couple more shorefish up here. But then in the corners, you've got your ponds. You've got little ponds. So you can drop the docks out here. And you can see we've already got a dock drop down by Salami. So Salami going to be doing some deep water fishing out here. So I like this a lot. This is really, really cool. Now, obviously, on this map, you can see that there's quite a fair bit of hunt. So I don't know exactly how this has been balanced with the Rus, but they're going to be feeling incredibly good when you think about just how much bounty they're going to be able to achieve on this. So Rus probably going to... I mean, to be fair, that's not a bad thing for the Rus. At the moment, they kind of feel like a bit on the weaker side. So who knows? Maybe that's actually a good thing to give them a bit more bounty. Now, keep in mind, this map, as far as I'm aware, isn't going to go into the ranked pool just yet. This is a crafted map, which means that, you know, a normal map when it comes to Age of Empires 4, it's randomly generated. It's procedurally generated. It means that your relics, so you can see right there, there's 3 relics, 3 on each side of the river. They would not always appear in these spots. They would appear randomly all over the map in different spots. Royal Knight coming in, almost dying. Not going to be dying though, because it is a Royal Knight and it is a fancy boy. Careful of those spears though, Mr. Royal Knight. So it is procedurally generated is the typical thing that you would see, but in this case, obviously, it's not. It is crafted, so it won't be coming in. You hate to see it. 240 resources gone to waste, almost losing a scout there as well. Yeah, this is. I mean, so far, Corp's done a pretty decent job. Actually going to be looking for the full wall. So it is definitely possible. Obviously, you can come for a chop through here. It's a big wall. It's a big ask. I mean, you could probably go down here. I think that would be fine. So maybe they could relook at the cliffs. Maybe get a little bit more balance out in it with regard to just the height. You can see that the height levels are quite big. Like, you're definitely very far up here. Yeah, I mean, overall, it's a really, really cool map. I love the look of it. Now we've actually got a second town center coming down with... Sideshow Bob right there, coming out with that sound. So a wolf coming out to attack now. Moving out with the villagers onto with the town center. A little bit of a mistake by Salami. He actually gets picked up on the way. Now, this should be a cause for concern, moving this many villagers out. And this is the consequence of going and invest... this is the consequence of investing in your economy too much and not enough in your military. And you can see his macro's gone a little bit to shit at this point. Obviously, it's a very big map. It kind of reminds me of a StarCraft map in a way. StarCraft maps typically were very big, but look at the villagers actually fucking going ham. So this is... What is he going to do here? Okay, is he doing what I think he's going to do? He goes through to the other side of the wall. Oh no, he can just wall this side, drop a gate, and then just go through. I think that's what he's going to look to do. Okay, Salami coming with the big brain moves. One of the villagers does go down. He gets through, loses a second villager. Third villager does go down as well. Now going to finish the wall. Oh. Okay. I like what you're putting down. Now, another thing to note is that in the center here, obviously you can place a dock down. You can look to control the river, control the fighting that happens over here. And I suspect on this map that might actually become a thing, just because you're not able to go up towards this position from the middle. This cannot be passed. Not with fishing boats, not with anything. Only with land units across there. But you can't actually pass down the river. Now, there's also a crossing in the middle here. There's also a crossing down in this position. So maybe we do see players look to try and control this river. But at the same time, obviously, Springlords are very effective against that. Townsend are going to go down here. He's continuing to move out onto hunts. Where are all the deer in this hunt? Hold on. Oh, it's like a little mini hunt. Oh, I see. Oh, I see what they've done. They've reduced the amount of villagers. This is interesting. This makes professional scouts a little bit better. So your main hunt back home, as far as I'm aware, has got 7 deer in it. Okay, but then your second hunt has only got 3, and then your third hunt has got 5. So you have more incentive to get out onto the map. I wonder if they've done this on all the maps or whether this is just going to be on the crafted maps. This is interesting. This is really, really interesting. The reason why that is so interesting is because it really changes the dynamics for professional scouts. It makes it a lot more viable as a technology because it's more difficult to come out here. You can definitely place a second town center on this bad boy. When it comes to like milling these up though, like it's a lot harder to commit to doing like so what you would normally do is you would come out on a hunt, you would bring 5 villagers, you would drop an outpost and a mill. And it would mean that you're like basically guaranteed that those villagers will survive. But now you're investing the same amount of resources. So for the French, it would be 125. For any other civ, it would be 150. And you're only getting 5 out of the 7 of the deer. So this is a really interesting calculation, and I suspect at the high level especially, it will begin to evolve. And now we see a villager actually heading out towards the right-hand side, so it could be throwing a little spanner in the works here for Corp, trying to mislead him. If we take a look at Corp's line of sight, he hasn't actually scouted out over on this position. So realistically, there's not a lot to be gained from these. Like when you have a look at the resources that are coming in, it's only 9 fishing boats here, 10th fishing boat coming through now, but keep in mind, there's not a lot of deep sea fish here, and this has been nerfed as well. So obviously, the amount of fish that's out here, not as strong as it used to be. But this villager probably trying to do a bit of a distraction out here and say, oh, I was going to go for this, I was going to go out here for this, oh, I thought he almost got the lock. I was going to come out here for the dock, but you stopped me from doing it. I'm definitely not expanding anywhere else. But I mean, even at this point, if you tried to stop that, I don't think it'd make too much of a difference. But we'll check and see how Salami is abusing or looking to abuse the map. Got a scout out, just protecting him on the south flank. At the same time, continuing to expand. You can see 6 villagers out here. Outpost is down. He's also got, and here, once again, this is exactly what I was talking about. You would see outpost and a mill. But look, there's only 3 deer. So it's like, do I really want to invest that for less than half of what I normally would be getting? It really starts to change the way that players are thinking about doing the things that they used to do. And it means that what might happen is that you just see players putting a mill out here and just leaving like 2 or 3 vills out there. And if they die, they die. Like if the raid gets them, the raid gets them. That sort of mindset. But there's obviously a lot of walking distance involved. Now it looks like we might actually have some walls coming up on the crossings. So players looking to get set for the late game. And oh my lord, look at the trades coming out already. Oh my lord! Is he going... He's not going for the trade wing. Why is he going for this boom? Why is he going for a trade boom if he's not going for the trade wing? I mean, it's still crazy though. You can just see on the minimap how many units he had coming out across here. You can see he's got crossbows. He's mixing everything. This is a huge investment. 169 gold coming back on that bad boy. Nice. That is very nice. But I don't think Salami actually spots this. So this could be bad for Salami. Obviously, when it comes to trade, the longer you're... Very nice transport ship. Knows this is so cute from Salami. He knows that the walls are coming up. Like he doesn't even have like he saw that there were walls down here, so he just does the math. He's like, well, there's gonna be walls here. There's gonna be walls here, and that's exactly what there are. But this is what I love about Salami because he's just an out of the box kind of guy. He's like, that's fine. I'll just build a dock and get a transport ship. That's exactly what he does. 16 villagers heading over there right now, dropping a forward base. I mean, Corp might not actually spot this if he's not careful. You can see the villager running across. It's definitely moving quite quickly. Still doesn't spot it, though. Those villagers... Oh, my freaking God, dude. How many villagers do you need over here? He's got to be, like, going for keeps or something. Oh, he's going for a red palace. Oh, Salami, you're so smart. So he's coming behind the crossing? Wait, I think he has spotted the trade, and he knows that the markets are at the back. If he just puts the keep down in the middle of the trade route, there's literally nothing that can be done right now by Corp. And you can see a couple villagers coming through. It looks like he might be baiting it away. And then at the same time, he's coming for a little bit of a whoopsie-doo. I don't even know how you'd say it. Oh, he's really going ahead. Oh my... Salami. I love the way that you think. Okay. And now coming forward. Look at the red palace, dude. Okay, so essentially he's locking him in the base here. The red palace does so much work. He's got 41 I love this play by Salami. It's so smart. He's actually kind of sacrificing a lot of these villagers. And now you can see the way that Corp is moving, he's actually trying to stop this from coming down. Makes a little bit of a mistake, or not really a mistake. 41 villagers are here. They're going to get this up almost 100%. There's no way all the units can come back in time from Corp. And this is going to be 100% a doubt castle coming through unless these villagers... Actually, he's on 35 villagers. It's not going to be a doubt castle. This is going up 100%. So Salami going to be pretty happy here. And watch how quickly he takes down these units. He's going to put in 15 villagers, and he's going to just destroy all these units. One shot, one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot. Just everything is one shot. Like, I feel like I could make a dance move about this. And now firing at the wall. Bit of a mistake there. You could, like... I wasn't kidding you. It is 100% a one shot. It is like actually broken as how good it is. And now you can see the damage that it's doing here. It's doing 10 damage a pop on that barracks. Siege Workshop coming down. I love this strategy from Salami. Probably going straight into Trebs. It is indeed straight into Trebs. I like it. I like it, Salami. Shoot your shot, man. So it's impressive. We actually saw a third town center coming down from Corp. Corp was really taking the economic route, it seemed. Going for quite a heavy economic play here. 97 villages for him at the moment. Still no trade wing. Does obviously have the military wing that he could go for Imperial. Got a lot of military. I think he's thinking about going up to Imperial, but at the same time, you really got to wonder whether it's worth it when you've got these outposts in your base. And now you can see him starting to commit to a few more units. At the same time, villagers coming up everywhere. Salami just doing Salami things. Going for the classic Salami cheese, despite the map being a custom one. And now moving forward, I love this. This is so smart coming out from Salami. This position is impossible to hit if this red palace is up. If this red palace is up, it is literally impossible to kill. And now he's going to start working on the base of his enemy. So a super smart move. And now it looks like Salami going to be continuing to expand his villages. He's on 82 at the moment. Sits very safely back here. Got the Guild Hall sitting on stone, so he's going to be able to add more of his keeps if he wishes. Now, keep in mind, speaking of keeps, boiling oil has been nerfed pretty heavily. You can see right there, the cost of it's now up to 700 resources, which is a great change. I'm very supportive of this. As you guys know, boiling oil, one of the best techs in the game. We can see he's actually sieging down the town center. I don't know how much I agree with that. I reckon just go after the infrastructure. I think it's fine. But Red Palace doing absolute work as well. You can see it just taking away that stable. Look how fast it fires as well. So much work. And now those villagers are going to be sieging down that palisade wall ever so slowly. But, you know, better late than never. And now continuing to wall up on the back line, really preventing any kind of flank from coming in. This is impressive stuff from Salami, and I always love to watch the way that he plays, especially with this Red Palace. But I got to say, man, I'm just so impressed with this map. I know that we've talked about it before. Oh God, Salami, I hate this. See, I like the walls on the back line, but then you start walling on the front line, I'm like, it's the same as when the wolf sound happens. I feel like maybe if you're up against Salami, you kind of need to go into an early mangonel and just keep it here just to kill villagers. Like maybe even a double mangonel. and then like just keep them here and just to fire at the villagers. And then as soon as he goes for the stone wall, just attack ground behind it. And I think that that's probably how you play against Salami, because otherwise you just get walls in your base. And now it's like, well, what do you do? What do you do now? You got walls in your base. And now obviously Salami moving around towards this position. He's finished off his walls. He's like very happy in here. Like, classic Salami. Classic Salami play right here. I mean, the red palace with the trebuchets, like, have you ever seen a more beautiful thumbnail right there? It is just absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? Like, barreling down on the enemy base from on top of this hill with your red palace. You gotta love it. Trade wing coming through. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a trade wing coming through. It is happening. Unfortunately, it looks like not a lot of traders going on, though. He's readjusted his market, Corp has. So bringing back 63 gold, so 106 less than what he was bringing back before. Very difficult for him to actually hit this position. Now, keep in mind, the French don't get access to the Culverin unless they go for the College of Artillery, I think it's called. The School of Artillery. It's the School of Cavalry. Hold on. It's the School of Cavalry, the College of Artillery. So unless they go for the College of Artillery, they don't get Culverin. Whereas the Abbasid Dynasty, let's just double check that, do get Culverin. So he's going to be having a pretty decent time going up against the Springalds of his opponent, if there are any. We could oh, is he going for a landmark snipe here? Does he spot, I don't know, he doesn't see the House of Wisdom, but you can see he's looking for it. Yeah, the outpost pushing forward now. He's going for a landmark snipe. This is so cheeky from Salami. I love the way he plays, just literally only trebs. And now, like, look at the trebuchet spam. Now going to be getting geometry, increasing the damage of rams and trebuchets by 30%. Going to be getting roller shutter triggers. Obviously just doing a huge amount of work on this front line. And the thing is, you can't push into this position. You have to kill it with your own siege. At least that's the way I feel about it. I really think it's quite difficult to push into this. But he's going to try pushing for it, it looks like, Corp. There's not a lot of units underneath that red palace, but I think the trebuchets actually need to focus down the red palace, and at the same time a push needs to come through. You can see the villagers were moving onto the front line. It looks like he might have come through at the right time, and now that trebuchet is going to be unfolding on the military buildings on the back line, preventing those villagers from completing that wall and getting it down, keeps it open. You see the outpost comes down, and now he's going to be looking to finish this wall, and that is the consequence. So maybe even coming through and actually building a sideways wall along this edge here would have really helped out with Corp. That way you can always get those units through. But now we can see Trebuchet is probably going to be looking to fire upon the Trebuchets of Corp. It is starting to get hot in here. I don't know about you guys. It is heating up at this point in time. Trebuchets, oh my god, isn't it? There's nothing more beautiful than Trebuchets in sync. Let's get down. Let's get down and dirty, baby. Oh, isn't it just beautiful? Sounds like Lord of the Rings right there. That is some good stuff. But now we can actually see that trebuchets are continuing to unfold in the base of Corp. Corp is looking pretty decent. But at the same time, he's kind of pushed into the corner. And you know what they say about baby in the corner? No one puts baby in the corner except for Salami. Salami with his large slummy. Okay, all right. You didn't need to say that, Drongo. That you didn't need to say that. But obviously, you guys at home know Salami. He's a big dick kind of guy. He goes big dick. Stone walls now also coming up on the crossing here. And just remember, that's really not going to stop the guy like Salami. He is just going to put a transport ship in the middle of the map. He's going to come over and try and take you out. But this map, man, I'm pretty hyped for it. I don't know how Corp is going to get himself out of this. I think number one way, I mean, you can go for bombards up against the French. I think bombards up against the French are a good investment. They're going to be doing a lot of damage. Obviously, Corp is up to the next stage. He's actually going to start going for stone walls himself. Do we see bombards coming out? We actually see Culverin coming out right now for Corp. So not a bad investment. So you can see he's got the Culverin in the queue. Got a nice little bit of a stone wall up here. I think this is just for protection against Springalds, because there are Springalds coming out. But ideally in this situation, and it's tough for Corp, but oh my god, look at this. Oh god, this is terrible. Like, look at the damage that's coming through from Salami right now. He's starting to eat further back into the base. But a smart move from Corp at the same time, putting his House of Wisdom so far back. Most people typically would have put their House of Wisdom here, or here, or here. Can you imagine? Like, Salami literally just would have won the game at this point. You can't counter this. You can't come up against the Red Palace. And yet, because Corp has that insight, he's like, I'm going to put the House of Wisdom at the back. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, for those of you who are just like clicking on the YouTube video and just coming halfway through and wondering what the heck is going on. So this is a brand new map. It's something to do with valleys. I want to say like beautiful valleys. No, it's not really. This is a crafted map. And so that's obviously the topic of this video, crafted maps. It is a map that is always going to be you know, coming through exactly the same every single time you load it. And so that's the map that we're looking at. This is a map that's actually been crafted by the developers. So it is a map that has been crafted with great love and energy. But now, once again, we see this wall getting put up. And this is the thing, right? You can't deal with Salami until you get mangonels. And I think it's going to take a while for Corp to figure that out. Culverin actually coming through, manages to take out one of those counterweight trebuchets. You can see the Culverin doing so much work here. Actually looking to get a second shot. I think he's going to be trying to break through here. Now, I will expect that the Red Palace does start working. We'll enter into cinematic mode. As we begin to watch these units, you can see the villagers head straight inside the cinematic, inside the Red Fortress, Red Castle, Red Palace. I eventually got it. No gate on the backside here. It's going to spoil the end for a lot of these trebuchets, and now you can see he's trying his best to actually take out these units, but with the flood of them coming in so quickly, obviously for balance reasons, it can't just retarget immediately. It's got to take some time. Trebuchet is beginning to work on this Red Palace behind, so he's actually looking to break through, and you can see the boulders continuing to come through. We'll do our best to track those boulders as they come down upon that Red Palace. There they go. Look at that beautiful shot right there. And that Red Palace is going to go down. Villagers going to be popping out, trying to heal it up. They realize it's probably a little bit too late. I'm getting reminiscent songs that JoJo 2004, that classic. And the Red Palace probably going to be going down on this next swing. Mangonel's finally coming out. Corp listening to Coach Drongo. And that Red Palace does go down. So it looks like this position going to be broken. Corp doing a decent job. And Salami obviously realizing, well, this ain't pretty. This ain't pretty. It ain't pretty indeed, Salami. He's managed to break you. He's got his units in here. You don't have any units on the defense. Now, obviously, you're age 4 behind this. So the question is, what can you do from this? What can you do to convert this into a victory? And it kind of gets tough. And now we've got ourselves a Hulk coming out. A little bit of action here on this front line. More outposts coming up as well from Corp here. And you can see he's actually just taking out villagers. He's ideally got to get villagers inside this outpost to start firing. Abbasid. Villagers. Amazing. Hit the villagers. Hit the villagers. Every single villager is a new voice line. They must have recorded that 1,000,000 times, dude. Hey, developers, if you're going to add an Australian civilization, let me know. I will be the voice line for your villagers when we're dying. It'll be like, ugh, ugh, ugh. Where's my burrito? Wait, that's not an Australian. That's not an Australian delicacy. It'd be what? Hold on. What do we have? We have blooming onions. You know, blooming onions actually isn't an Australian thing, but it's like an Outback Steakhouse thing. They just put it on the menu. I've never had a blooming onion in my life, but I've seen it. And like often I'll talk to people from overseas and they'll mention like the blooming onion. I'm like, bro, I got no idea what you're talking about. But speaking of talking about, look at that. That's something to talk about right there. Look at this. The galley is actually coming out and doing quite some work here. These, yeah, we got Big Sniper in the chat at the moment. He came in, said, hello, guys. A lot of potential in these new maps. I got to agree. I love these new maps. I think these are so awesome. The crafted maps in particular, it's going to be very balanced. If you want to have tournament games, just chuck it on a crafted map. Let's go, like, crafted Dry Arabia. Every game perfect spawns for your sacred sites, for your berries, for your gold, for your relics. It's like, it's absolutely perfect. And now we see a villager migration coming out from Salami. He's looking to bring them down towards this southern position. Not going to have a lot of luck, as you can see that outpost managing to pick up all of those villagers on the way through. Does obviously have the extra health on them, so he's going to be fine in that regard. But now we can see Salami is actually looking to invest in barracks. Makes a lot of sense. I don't know which route he's going to go, but I feel like in the late game, going up against the Abbasid Dynasty, it's going to be almost impossible to stop Corp at this point. He's trading like a madman. You can hear him deleting something. I got no idea what it is. He's managed to break through the walls. Now he's heading down the mountain like a race car. And, I mean, this is it, right? Like, now the burden is upon Salami to stop this. And I wish, this is once again one of those times where I wish I had the observer overlay that we had in N4C, but unfortunately we don't. So I'm going to have to check it manually. You see 128 and 57 compared over to Salami, who's sitting on 92 and 5. It's not looking pretty. A lot of resources in the bank right now for Salami. So I suspect he's hit that guild hall, got a whole bunch of stone out of it, and then, yeah, that's exactly what he's done. So he's got enough resources to drop keeps down for days. He can literally drop down 800... 5 keeps with the resources that he's got. But keep in mind, a lot of trebuchets out for his enemy means that the keeps are going to be made short work of, and he's now going to be heading towards that central crossing. That keep goes down. No relic's really been taken at this point in time. Now going to be looking to get a dock down. Now, Corp will he scout this out? He should be able to see it with the villager here. You can see villager going to work its way towards this, doesn't actually spot it. So it is in a bit of a blind spot here for Corp. So a little bit of a misplay, honestly, from Corp. I would say you probably want to keep line of sight along the entire river just to make sure your enemy isn't up to any sneaky shenanigans. And that's exactly what Salami is doing. Even up here, like you could drop a dock and then just transport around to here. So there's like so many different like ways that you can go for it. And keep in mind, Salami's the kind of guy who's totally going to do a landmark snipe. So you got to watch out for that. It will happen. It will happen. I'm telling you. Oh God. Am I foreshadowing here? Is that actually what's going to happen? Wow. Look at the traders, dude. Look at the resources coming in right now for him. 243 gold, 46 food. So there's a couple of texts that have come through from the House of Wisdom from the trade wing. So number one is that it increases the resources that come in from like just your standard resources, and that's the Imperial Age one, and it got switched with the Feudal Age one. And so the Feudal Age one now is that you can choose a second resource to bring back from the market. So obviously he's bringing back food, but his resources are popping off at this point. He is very far ahead. You can see all the units that he's got in queue at the moment. And yeah, now he's going to continue pushing forward. A lot of siege out for him. How much infrastructure have we got here? That's not my infrastructure button. How about that one? Nope. How about that one? Nope. How about that one? That's it. It is F1. 28 military production buildings for Corp right now. He is doing absolutely perfect. This is 100% what you want in the late game. Ideally, you're going to rally these up towards... Perfect. That's exactly where you want them. Might even go towards like a forward rallying point up here. But doing the right thing and now continuing to push forward. We'll check in on Salami and see how he's doing. You can see that he's losing the majority of his units. I'm not sure why these Streps haven't crossed the river yet, but at the same time, I mean, we get to witness the death of 1,000 barracks over here. And now it looks like we've got ourselves a bit of a push. Crossbows coming in with men-at-arms, a delightful combo coming through now, and villagers getting pulled here. Want to try and get this keep up. A lot of villagers getting pulled right now. You can see how much damage is going to get done. On the other side, it looks like 92 villagers for Salami. A lot of these bad boys going to be going down. A second monastery going to be placed up next to this as well. He wants to take the sacred site. And speaking of sacred sites, have a look at this. On the other side of the map, you've got a second sacred site. I think it's just the 2 sacred sites. I don't think there's 4. So not the best Delhi map. So that's actually a good point. A good way to balance Delhi is just to reduce sacred site numbers on maps, because you'd expect a big map like this to have 4 sacred sites, or at least 3 sacred sites. But it's not the case. They went with 2 instead. So very smart move from them. You know what you could do as well, if you really wanted? Here's an idea. For anybody who's like watching this and maybe they're thinking about like adding a 3rd sacred site, add a 3rd sacred site right here, put an island in the center, and then put this river around it. Or like put this low ground around it, so you can actually have the sacred site spawn in at the center. And then that could be like a central contesting point. So that's always something to think about. Sacred site now being captured up down towards the south side for Corp. He's looking to get into gear in the late game. Finds a couple more villagers over towards the hunt, and he's still out on the map. We're at the 33rd minute into this game, and he is still out on the map. And now Corp looks to be pushing towards his enemy. Looks like a wolf going to get in on the action as well. Got to be careful there. I want to make sure that I switch off from the player before that wolf gets into attack mode. You guys know I absolutely hate the attack mode of those wolves. But now you can see he's really beginning to focus on farms, starting to transition into them. We'll have a look at his upgrades. You can see he's actually got all of his farming upgrades. We'll take a look at the House of Wisdom. You can see he's also got all of his economic upgrades. Corp doing a great job with his economic upgrades and now showing the Abbasid late game in its true form. And I think in larger maps like this, it's going to make a lot of sense to go these late game civilizations, because it just seems very what's the word? Like, I always feel like it's going to go late game in these larger maps. And I think maybe it's even a good idea if we balance around the late game, but then you've got to kind of speed up the early game. This is something that we saw in StarCraft 2 quite a bit, is that if you make bigger maps, then it gets very slow very often. And so you have to kind of speed up the early game. And I can't imagine a way to do that other than like giving more villagers at the beginning of the game. But that's a different kettle of fish. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll fight that battle when we see her, that sort of thing. But now you can see the score really pulling ahead for Corp. I don't think there's any possible way that Salami gets this. And for anybody sitting there in either Twitch chat or the YouTube comments wondering, okay, but why is French bad in the late game? Well, this is why they're bad in the late game. Oh, to be honest, Salami did go a little bit all in, but it's so hard to deal with the composition that's now coming out from Corp as the Abbasid Dynasty. He's got a lot of great upgrades here. You can see the veteran camels are getting out. And keep in mind, these guys aren't even elite yet, but they've got this beautiful gold armor. As veterans, they've got this gold armor. Can you imagine what happens when these guys get to elite? Do we have the upgrade coming through yet for them? It doesn't look like it, unfortunately. Yeah, these guys are looking very strong. They kind of look like the Zambaraks from AoE 3, the way that the Camel sits. And fuck, their animation is so good. Dude, I love the Abbasid Dynasty, man. Abbasid and Delhi definitely becoming two of my favorites very quickly. But now even some hand cannoneers coming in, and I think at this point it's all she wrote. I don't think there's any way that we can really really dress it up more for you. It's looking absolutely over at this point. Salami tried his best with his push down the front. Didn't work out. Now we have some more walls coming in, and you can see Corp knows that Salami might be thinking about a landmark snipe, so he's like, all right, we must secure all of our avenues. We need to make sure that there is no threat coming through from a landmark snipe, and that's exactly what he does. So very smart move there from Corp. Interestingly, the villagers, he walls to the wood line, and the villagers are like, yeah, bro, we're just gonna run down the hill, don't mind us. There was a little way through right there, so that's a bit of a keck W right there. But now we see Corp working towards the landmarks here of his opponent. And I mean, we can do a little bit of a roundup for you guys. Once again, this has been the brand new map. I'm just going to quickly break the fourth wall and check. It says Dry Arabia. It is not Dry Arabia, I can tell you that much. It has definitely got a different name. But this is one of the brand new maps. It is one of the crafted maps. It's going to be available to you guys. Oh, he's going for it. He's going for it. You can see, yeah, this is why you got to be so careful with that cheeky Salami. He's literally moving all of his units across. And Corp knows this. This is exactly why he stoned walls. He knows what he's up against, dude. And so he's not going to be able to get through those stone walls unless he somehow manages to get some kind of ram, but he doesn't even have the technology available. Now going to get cleaned up, and we've got the new elite camel riders coming through right now. Take a look at this. They are going to be absolutely mauling these villagers, and don't these camel riders look amazing? Look at the stats on these bad boys. +5 armor, ranged and melee, 384 health. These guys are so healthy, and 18 attack with a bonus against cavalry as well. These units are actually viable now. You're very difficultly, like, Abbasid are probably going to become the late game kings now that their camels are actually decent, and those villagers do go through. He's looking to repair the Red Palace. You know what? If he tried to chop through here, he might be able to get through. Another stone wall going to be coming up as well, and it looks like it's all over Red Rover for Salami at this point, as his final attack does get cleaned up, and the elite camel archers begin unfolding. You can see they got that 15 bonus damage against light melee infantry as well, and slowly but steadily he works down the landmarks of his opponent. I suspect any second Corp will be winning this game, but yeah, this is an absolutely beautiful map, and a lot of interesting decision-making coming out here. With regard to the hunt, I really like the way that they were using it. It makes professional scouts a lot more viable as well, so they really improve that as a technology. And at the same time, they make hunting a stronger option, so encouraging people to get out onto the map, trying to punish those people who want to go for a fast castle or something like that. And now Salami taps out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Age of Empires 4. This is the brand new PUP, the public update preview. This map will be coming to you very, very shortly. I hope you've enjoyed this custard game, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Big shout out to Ludicor. Catch him in the comments. I'll see you guys later.